Dear students, Cochran Q test is the non-parametric alternative of repeated Meyers ANOVA. Now, under the repeated Meyers ANOVA, we usually consider that the samples that we have taken from the populations, they are following the normal distribution. So, if this assumption is not met with our data, or even if the data is not being given in form of the observations, rather instead of original observations, we are given with the ranks, then we can make use of the Cochran Q test to make the comparison between various kind of treatments. So students, I'll be sharing one example with you so that we can consider that example under the Cochran Q test, and you would learn that how to apply the Cochran Q test for the given real life data set. The example I'm going to consider, it was a study that was conducted to examine the effectiveness of 4 methods of treating the raw fabric to tender it water repellent. 12 types of fabrics were used. Each item was tested for water repellence and a score of 0 was assigned if that value was unsatisfactory, and a value of 1 was being assigned if the water repellent, after applying the water repellent, the fabric was not being considered as it was not actually treated well. So do these data provide sufficient evidence to indicate a difference among the methods? So basically students, हम ये compare करना चाह रहे हैं that out of all the 4 methods that are being used to treat the particular raw fabric, which one of them was more effective compared to others, or whether all the 4 fabric, they were giving us the identical result. So this particular example would fall under Cochran Q test because as you can see that the data is being given in form of the ranks. So the data for method 1, 2, 3 and 4 is being given. So we have 4 treatments in total, and along the blocks we have 12 blocks. There were 12 type of fabric which are to be treated using these 4 methods. So the procedure that you need to consider here is you will consider under H0 that whether the 4 methods of treating the fabric, they are yielding the same results. And under the alternative, you would be considering that their ability in treating the fabric may differ from each other. Under the level of significance, we have alpha that is being taken as 5%. The test statistic that we need to click on, Cochran's Q test. Why? Because the data is being given in form of the ranks. And secondly, most importantly, if we are talking about the original observations, may not be following the normal distribution. Step 4 is to make the calculations using step 3. So we need to delete rows that are containing all zeros and all ones. Now students, if you just look into this data, अब अगर आप यहाँ पे देखिए, पहले block में अगर आप देखिए, there are some zeros and there are some ones. Again, for the second block, we have the same case. If you look into the third, यहाँ पे भी देखिए 0, 0, 0 and 1. Then we have 1, 0, 0, 1. So if you are just looking at all the data, we can see that there are no particular blocks which are containing all zeros or all ones. There was only one block which is already been deleted, and that was block number 4 that we have deleted because it was containing all the zeros. वो करने के बाद delete जो हम कर चुके हैं, एक ही block था which was being deleted under the observation that it was containing the same type of ranks. So अब आपने क्या करना है students, according to the procedure, आपने rank sum करने हैं treatments के, and then you need to find the rank sum along the blocks. अगर आप इधर देखिए, according to the treatments, 1 plus 1 plus 1, that gives you 3. Then 1 plus 1, ये आपको दे रहा है 2. और इसी तरह से अगर आप blocks में जाइए, 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 is giving you 1. Then 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 is giving you 1, and so on. और अगर आप column wise या row wise आप इनको total करें तो grand total आ रहा है 15. ये आपने किए हैं blocks के rank sum और इधर आपने किए हैं treatments के rank sum, और दोनों के rank sum का grand total जो कि capital N है वो आपको मिल रहा है 15. Once you are done with that students, we can put all these values in the Q formula to obtain the desired results. So Q में students सबसे पहले आपका total number of treatments for 4 into 4 minus 1, और यहाँ पे आप ट्रीटमेंट्स के सम ऑफ स्केयर लेंगे. पहली ट्रीटमेंट का सम था 3 का स्केयर प्लस सेकेंड ट्रीटमेंट का रैंक सम था 2 स्केयर प्लस 1 स्केयर. एंड लास्टली फॉर द लास्ट ट्रीटमेंट द रैंक सम वाज 9. Scaring it, we get the required result minus 4. They were the total number of treatments minus 1. Capital N, that was 15. इसका स्केयर लिया आपने. Divided by 4. They were the total number of treatments. Capital N was 15 minus, ये देखिए स्टूडेंट, समेशन आर स्केयर आप कह रहे हैं जो आपके रैंक सम है अलोंग द ब्लॉक्स. सबसे पहला जो था वो 1 था, 1 का स्केयर प्लस नेक्स्ट ब्लॉक का सम वाज 1 स्केयर प्लस नेक्स्ट ब्लॉक का रैंक सम वाज 1 स्केयर एंड सो ऑन. लास्ट ब्लॉक का जो रैंक सम था दैट वाज 2 का स्केयर. वंस यू आर डन विद दैट, कैलकुलेटिंग द डिजायर्ड क्यू वैल्यू, ये आपको आफ्टर सर्टेन मैथमेटिकल मैनिपुलेशंस you got this value as 13.28. Now this particular Q value, students, is to be compared with the tabulated value. But before that, you need to see that whether the product of the treatments and blocks after deleting the required blocks is that greater than or equal to 24. Since the product of rows by columns in the reduced table, अब रिड्यूस टेबल में स्टूडेंट्स इंस्टेड ऑफ 11 आपके पास 10 ब्लॉक्स रह गए थे क्योंकि आपने एक ब्लॉक की ऑब्जर्वेशंस को डिलीट किया. मल्टीप्लाइड बाय द 4, दे वर द रिक्वायर्ड नंबर ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट्स. मल्टीप्लाई करने के बाद आपको आंसर मिल रहा है 40. वेयर एज क्यू वैल्यू वाज 13.28. इट इज टू बी कंपेयर्ड विद काई स्क्वायर 1 माइनस अल्फा इनटू c माइनस 1, वेयर c इज द टोटल नंबर ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट्स यू हैव हैड. 4 माइनस 1 आपको मिल रहा है 3. स्टूडेंट्स, काई स्क्वायर के टेबल में 0.95 प्रोबेबिलिटी के लिए और 3 डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम के लिए आपको वैल्यू मिल रही है 7.815. नाउ दिस पर्टिकुलर Q वैल्यू इज टू बी कंपेयर्ड विद द 7.815 tabulated value of chi-square. और critical region में students you will be assuming that if your value of Q is greater than or equal to chi-square 1 minus alpha into c minus 1 degrees of freedom, then you will reject your null hypothesis. As our calculated value of Q is 13.28, which is very much greater than our tabulated value of 7.815. That means our calculated value, it falls in the rejection region. Hence, we would be rejecting H naught and will be concluding that the 4 methods of treating the fabric, they are different in treating the particular fabric.